The journey to Grindelwald was quite a schlep, dragging our 250-pound bags up and down ramps, through 3 train changes to the final leg that took us to the small, lively town which lies at the foot of some of the most well-known of Switzerland's mountains. A taxi brought us to the unlocked chalet, our home for the following week. From the chalet, we could see the impressively beautiful peaks of the Wetterhorn, Schreckhorn, Eiger, Munch, and the Jungfrau, a wonderful panorama. On our first full day in Grindelwald, maintenance on the town water system obliged us to refrain from pouring water down the drains after 7:30 a.m. So we rose early, dressed warmly against the fresh breeze, strolled about the village, and went to stock up on provisions, trying to resist the tempting array of chocolates and delectable novelties. After dropping our bags at the chalet and some refreshment, we went out again to explore some of the neighboring nooks and crannies around Grindelwald, where we watched some of the locals in their daily activities. The next day, we made our way to the interesting medieval city of Freiburg, where we planned to book accommodation for the following week. Freiburg, founded in the 12th century, has an almost perfectly preserved old town, full of marvelous Gothic buildings, medieval churches, fountains, and museums. From the tourist center, Colin booked a room with private bath.
Aha, okay. Und 24 ist...
And we decided to visit Old Town and find the address we were given. So wind it up.
Yes.
We took the old funicular, built in 1899, from the upper town with its boutiques and shops, down the steep slope to Old Town, with its narrow cobbled streets and picturesque alleys. We found the address in a narrow old street, in a delightful ancient building clinging to a cliff face. As Colin walked up the incline toward the top of the street, a lady of questionable talents looked after him, and I was quick to catch up. We were disappointed to find out later in the day that the room we booked did not have a private bath, and we opted to make other arrangements for the following week. The next day, we rested up, just enjoying the chalet. On Saturday, Beat arrived promptly at 3 by car, followed shortly by his boys, Jonas and Lars, who came by train. Not long after, Beatrice arrived as well. It was fun having the teenage boys with us and listen to their conversation about global warming and other issues.
Have you been to the Jungfrau Joch?
We all walked to a nearby restaurant for supper. Jonas and Lars left then to return to Basel and their studies. Tomorrow, we would head for the glacial canyon, the Gletscherschlucht. On Sunday, a misty morning in Grindelwald, Beat and Beatrice drove us to the entrance to the glacial gorge, the Gletscherschlucht, where we posed for pictures with a friendly and cooperative bovine. Inside the entrance, before we headed into the canyon, we admired magnificent colorful crystals found in the area of the gorge. A narrow wooden walkway leading through short, rough tunnels clings to one side of the gorge, and we followed it along the dark, wet, rocky wall of the cliff, while below us the turbulent waters of the melting glacier churn, still cutting their way through the canyon.
It's a tunnel. Oh. They built a tunnel as a protection of the village because there is...
Beatrice tells us of the mile-long tunnel in the rocks above us, completed in 2010, that was built to drain water from a lake that had formed suddenly above the gorge from the melting glacier and threatened the town of Grindelwald below. Finally, we stood at the nose of the glacier that, due to global warming, has receded over many years, almost from the edge of town to where it is now, high in the mountain. We walked back from the glacier through a wet, monochromatic landscape, brightened by colorful umbrellas, and found ourselves outside once again in sunlight. After the soggy walk in the gorge, we were ready for lunch. Beat drove through the narrow streets of Grindelwald while we chatted about the houses and the village.
Where's your parents' house? Beatrice, up this way somewhere?
yeah, more up hills.
We were looking to buy these houses here on apartment. They're crazy expensive. Yes, I would like them now.
Oh, strange.
Do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want money? And he said yes. So I said no, I don't. You want money? I would be against money, but you want the other one.
We stopped at a charming little cafe near the Wetterhorn, where we sat outside enjoying the wine, the mountains, and conversation with our alpine family. After lunch, Beat and Beatrice returned to Basel, while we made plans for our departure from the chalet and its spectacular mountain panorama.